Mae Jemison, the first American woman astronaut in space, once said that, "Don't let anyone rob you of your imagination, your creativity, or your curiosity. It's your place in the world. It's your life. Go on and do all you can with it, and make it the life you want to live." The wait is over, so good day to you all. I am Shiva Cruz, telling you to not be shy and express yourself in a way that you are satisfied. Grabe, we are seeing history being made, and that is quite remarkable, especially to the women that are striving to become astronomers. In fact, more young women are entering the field than ever before. If you try to compare it back in the 19th century, the numbers have increased drastically. On behalf of the Bedan Society of Young Astronomers, I would like to thank each and every one of you for attending this webinar today. The club would like to give thanks to our special guest, the former president of the Bedan Society of Young Astronomers, Gabriel Camilo Cascolan, for attending this webinar. We hope that all of us can spread the word and invite more people to join the club activities that we organize. At this juncture, may we call on Ms. Cassandra Espirito, as well as Mavis Ha, for the opening prayer, the vision mission statement, and the opening remarks for this webinar.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
San Beda University, a Catholic educational institution, is committed to the Christian formation of the Bedan community as it serves the Church, the Philippine society, and the world. Vision. San Beda University envisions a community that is fully human, wholly Christian, truly Filipino, globally competitive. Mission. San Beda University aims to form its member in faith, knowledge, virtue, and inculcate in them the Benedictine core value of prayer and work, ora et labora, that include study, community, pursuit of peace.
It is indeed a blessed afternoon to the Bedan community, our guests, teachers, Sir June, and to our speakers. I am Maria Cassandra Espiritu, the grade 12 batch representative of the Bedan Society of Young Astronomers. The annual World Space Week 2021 has been a prominent event to our beloved organization, the Philippine Astro Community, and especially to our moderator, Sir June Cajigal. As we are about to end this meaningful week with a bang, we would like to welcome you to this year's symposium entitled The Legend of Astronomy. Thank you and God bless. Ut in omnibus glorificitur Deus.
That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives.
It is a wonderful and astonishing thing to me that you and I, are somehow at least one of the ways that the universe knows itself.
Those worlds in space are as countless as all the grains of sand on all the beaches of the earth. Each of those worlds is as real as ours. In every one of them, there's a succession of incidents, events, occurrences, which influence its future.
We are special because we're the same. We are one, not only with each other, but with the universe itself.
I know Hamlet, and what he might say with irony, I say with conviction. What a piece of work is man! How noble it is, how infinite in faculty, in form, in moving, how express and admirable, in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god.
It is the struggle itself that is most important. We must strive to be more than we are, Law. It does not matter that we will never reach our ultimate goal. The effort yields its own rewards.
Nine, 8.
Let's rock and roll!
6.
See
all I'm fine. Well, you don't know what we can find. Why don't you come with me, little girl, on a magic carpet ride? Well, you don't know what we can see. Why don't you tell your dreams to me? Fantasy will set you free.
Giddy with delight, seeing what's to come. The image of the dead ends in my mind. Policemen swear to God, of saving from the guns. I know my friends and I would probably turn and run. If you get out of bed, come find us heading for the bridge. Bring us snow, all the rage, my little dark age.
Thank you very much to Miss Cassandra Espirito and Miss Mavis Ha for opening our webinar in a very beautiful way. I would also like to thank Mr. Marcos Paculanan for helping us live stream this webinar. Before we proceed with the webinar, we would like to remind everyone to take notes and ask their questions later. Moving on, in 1977, Angelita Castro Kelly, a Filipina, started to work for NASA as a data analyst of the team that planned and executed the Goddard Space Flight Center and Space Lab Data Processing Facility. Being one of the foremothers of astronomy, she helped to pave the way for Filipino and Filipina astronomers. And to tell us more about these is our first speaker for today. She's currently a weather specialist and astronomer for Pag-asa. May we please welcome Miss Ghela Lequiron to talk about the Filipinas in astronomy, or the Pinay astronomers and their field of expertise. May we please give her a virtual round of applause.
Hello, good afternoon. I would like, okay. Can I share my slide instead? Okay, anyway. So you will be presenting? Okay.
Yes po, ma'am. I will operate your PowerPoint.
Okay. Okay. So, thank you. First of all, I would like, good afternoon. I think mga students yung kasama natin ngayon, no? And some teachers. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for inviting me again, BSYA, for your World Space Week celebration. Yes, as previously mentioned by our host, I am Maria Angela Lourdes Lequiron, but you can call me Ghela for short. Just a quick background of my educational background. No? I finished, or I graduated my undergraduate degree in astronomy technology sa Rizal Technological University, Boni Campus. That was in 2013. And after that, I finished my master's degree in astronomy and space science in Korea University of Science and Technology, Korea Astronomy and Space Science Institute, or UST Kasi campus. So after I finished my studies, I went back to the Philippines to work for Pag-asa. I'm currently assigned at the Astronomical Observation and Time Service Unit of Pag-asa, wherein we are conducting several observations of astronomical objects and astronomical phenomenon. And now, without further ado, let's go to the next slide, please. So, I would like to mention lang yung mga activities namin sa Pag-asa in celebration of World Space Week. So, we conducted several activities. So, first of which is yung online astronomy seminar for science teachers. So, it was conducted last October 4th, 6th, and 8th. And meron kami dyang lecture series and then hands-on session. And another another one is yung first ever online astro quiz ng Pag-asa, which was held last October 7. And due to unfavorable weather condition, because of the weather systems, di ba, may mga bagyo tayo, we were not able to perform itong virtual telescope viewing. To be live stream sana ito sa official Facebook page ng Pag-asa. And since I will be discussing yung mga Philippine astronomers, no, I would like to mention also or highlight then yung mga speakers namin for yesterday morning's event, which is entitled Roles and Contributions of Filipina in Space. So during this webinar, we invited 3 empowered and very inspiring Filipinas that are working in the space sector. So tignan muna natin sila, kung sino sila. So next slide, please. So the first speaker was Engineer Josephine Bond. She is the chief of the Institutional Division Safety and Mission Assurance Directorate. She is under Kennedy Space Center of NASA. That is situated in Florida. So she is a member of NASA or employee of NASA since 2014, making it her 17th year na in the industry and in NASA. And at first, she was an intern, but later on got a full-time work or job at Pag-asa as a systems engineer. And currently, her current promotion, her main task is to supply engineering support to research and technology development projects at Kennedy Space Center. So another speaker, next slide please, is Dr. Gaijin Perez. She is the Deputy Director of the PhilSA, or Philippine Space Agency. And aside from that, she is also the Associate Professor and Scientist too at Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology. So that's in University of the Philippines, Diliman. So Dr. Perez, the background of Dr. Perez in space development, space technology, space satellites led her to, made her lead various programs on satellite development in the Philippines, as well as other projects that utilize satellite and remotely sensed data for environmental applications and studies. And her field of expertise also is in environmental prediction and application of remotely sensed remote sensing laboratory. So these efforts, can you scroll up a bit yung slide and then, okay. No, yung part lang no kay Dr. Okay, yan. So the efforts of Dr. Perez also help farmers and fishers a lot across the Philippines to optimize the crop yield by predicting droughts and flooding caused by Filipinos. So para na may mitigate nila yung mga ganitong effects ng El Nino. So last but definitely not the least, yung research speaker natin for yesterday was Miss Stephanie Tomapo. She recently finished her Copernicus Master's degree in Digital Earth sa Van, France. And currently, just this week, she moved to Germany to continue her PhD in Technical University of Munich in Germany. She is also a multi-awarded science journalist and photographer in the Philippines. And she is also hosting the podcast entitled Down to Earth, a podcast for geoscientists by a geoscientist by the IEEE Geoscience and Remote Sensing Society. So aside from that, her love for astronomy also made her spearhead many projects, including outreach and education in astronomy and space science in the country. So while she was working sa Regular Space Tech Incorporation. So moving on, let's continue. Next slide, please. Okay, next slide. So next, I'm sure some of you or many of you have heard about her, Miss Hilary Diane Andales. Currently, she is a junior undergraduate student at MIT or Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Her major is in physics with minor in astronomy and science, technology, and society. And she is also very famous or very known for her achievement as the winner of the 2017 Breakthrough Junior Challenge, wherein she created a 3-minute video explaining about the relativity. So out of she won out of 11,000 entries. So ang galing, di ba, ng Pinay. And then currently her focus is about neighboring ultra-faint dwarf galaxies. And based on her previous experience doon sa Super Typhoon Yolanda, it also motivated her to be a science communicator. So next slide, please. So another is Dr. Andrea Carrillo. She is a Filipina astrophysicist. She just graduated then her PhD in University of Texas at Austin, and her research field during her PhD is about galaxy and other nearby galaxies. She also conducts outreach activities like mentoring from kindergarten to college students. And I would like to mention that I personally know Dr. Drea because during her undergraduate undergraduate student pa lang siya, when she visited the Philippines for a short time, she applied for an internship sa RTU, Boni Campus. And at that time, I was a part-time instructor. And during her internship, she conducted also outreach events together with RTU, of course. And she also handled few sessions of my class in astrophysics. So parang she taught laboratory applications to the students that I'm handling at that time. So next is Dr. Cynthia Celebre. She is a retired Pag-asa employee, and she is also our former Chief of the Research and Development and Training Division. So itong RDTD, yung RDTD kasi doon kami under yung Space Science and Astronomy section ng Pag-asa. And I would like to mention that Dr. Celebre is one of the few Filipino members or individual members of International Astronomical Union. And she is also representing the Philippines and as a delegate for the International Year of Astronomy in 2009. It's the opening celebration of that event. It was held in Paris, France, and she is also the author of the publication entitled Astronomy in the Philippines 100 Years After. So this publication contains the history and astronomy development in the Philippines. So kung may time kayo, basahin nyo. Yan. And then next slide, please. So another is Miss Pauline Vina Gracias. Currently, she is an instructor sa Rizal Technological University, Pasig Campus, and the advisor of RTU Astronomy Society. So she is one of the second batch of graduates ng BS Astronomy Technology in 2013. So ka-batchmates ko siya. So I really, really know her. And then together with Dr. Celebre, she is also a Philippine delegate sa International Year of Astronomy in 2009 sa Paris. And also she is a founding member of RTU AstroSoc together with me. At that time, she was the vice president for education and research, if I'm not mistaken. So next is Marielle Eduardo. Currently, she is doing her master's course in astronomy sa National Central University in Taiwan, and her topic is about her master's thesis is about hunting trans-Newtonian objects with the Hyper-Prime Cam Subaru Strategic Program Deep and Ultra Deep Layers. And she is also a research assistant at the Academia Sinica Institute of Astronomy and Astrophysics, or ASIA, in Taipei. So I also, there are occasions na na-meet ko na si Miss Eduardo because she was also an intern sa Pag-asa Astronomical Observatory. So I met her a couple of times, and some observations of astronomical phenomena, she was also present, like eclipses, ganun. So I at times na nami-meet ko din siya. And then, next, please. So next is Miss Imelda Hawthorne. She is an astrophotographer and can be considered as the pioneer figure in Philippine astronomy, together with her wife, Edwin Aguirre. So in 1995, IAU, or International Astronomical Union, named an asteroid in honor of their accomplishments. So the asteroid's name is 6282 Eduardo, a combination of their name. Ang galing, di ba? May pangalan. May pinangalan sa kanilang asteroid. And then, Miss Hawthorne worked as a photo editor, while Mr. Aguirre worked as an associate editor for Sky and Telescope magazine. And this couple also, they are also a total solar eclipse chaser. So ibig sabihin nun, kung saan observable ang isang total solar eclipse, pinupuntahan talaga nila yun kahit na sa ibang bansa. Ganun. So next slide, please. So another one, another Filipina astrophysicist is Dr. Girly Naneta. She's a principal investigator sa Department of Physics sa University of Southern Mindanao. During her PhD, she focused on X-ray astronomy and dark matter profiles. And she became also a postdoc researcher at Korea Advanced Institute of Science and Technology, or KAIST. So yung KAIST talaga parang included yan sa top universities in Korea, next sa Seoul National University and Yonsei University. So next. So another one is Miss Gwendolyn Pasqua. She is a scientist at the Mission Control Center, Biotechnology Space Support Center at Switzerland. She is the first ever Cordillera. She's from Kalinga, anyway, by the way. Mission controller for astronauts in Europe. She is also the lead engineer for the project planning and coordination and operation, and also a ground controller at Biotech. So next slide. So next is Dr. Linha Del Reyes. I know many of you nakikita natin siya sa Facebook and some other modes of instruction sa Facebook, sa social media, ganyan. So Dr. Reyes is currently an associate professor sa National Institute of Physics sa University of the Philippines, Diliman Campus. She is also can be called as a celebrity astrophysicist rather, because she is known as the Filipina who proved Einstein right. Ang bigat, di ba? For her work with supermassive black holes. As soon as she came back to the Philippines, she's been actively engaged in lectures, handling classes, working as a data scientist, and also meron siyang hino-host ng mga science shows sa TV and radio. So she also have this YouTube channel where she posts yung content niya is about science and explaining science terms, ganun, and concepts. So you may want to check that out also. That can really help you sa mga science class nyo. show sa mga students dito. And can you scroll a bit up dun sa slide po. Ayan. She is also the co-founder and co-moderator of PinoyScientist.com. And this blog is about it contains yung mga scientists, Filipino scientists, nag-feature sila ng mga Filipino scientists and their achievements. So, next slide, please. So, next one is the very humble Miss Erica Valdesa. She is graduate. She is currently taking her graduate certificate in space resources sa Colorado School of Mines sa US. Actually, she is a remote sensing geologist. At the same time, very in love in astronomy. She's an amateur astronomer and astro blogger. And she is an alumnus of the UP AstroSoc and a member of several astronomy groups in the Philippines, like Manila Street Astronomer, Astronomical League of the Philippines, and Philippine Astronomical Society. And because she's very fond of astronomy, she was able to attend several and various international trainings, conferences, and internships in astronomy. So I also personally know Miss Erica because very active siya sa astronomy, and during my undergraduate days, na-meet ko siya through past, I'm not sure, on several occasions then astronomy events. And I would like to mention na kahit na ang background niya talaga as her undergrad is about geology, during her master's course in Switzerland, in Europe, talagang tinry niya i-incorporate yung astronomy because she really loves astronomy. And back then, ang ginawa niya research is about more on planetary geology. So na-apply niya yung pagiging geologist niya and love niya for astronomy sa kanyang studies. And next, so I would like to mention also na hindi lang naman ako yung babaeng nagwo-work sa astronomy section namin. So other than me, meron din kaming mga iba pang mga staff and personnel doon. So first of all, yung boss namin, si Ma'am Chat Ramos, she is the officer in charge sa aming section, Space Science and Astronomy section, and she was formerly the unit chief ng planetarium unit ng Pag-asa. So sa Pag-asa kasi we have three units: the Astro Publication Unit, Astronomical Observation and Time Service, yun yung section kung saan ako naka-assign, and lastly yung Planetarium Unit. And currently, she is the National Outreach Coordinator for the Philippines. And kami yung team niya, mamaya i-mention ko yung kasama sa team namin. And she is also a member of Southeast Asia Astronomy Network, or SEAN. And having that said, because she is a member of SEAN, she represents the country, the Philippines, in astronomy-related meetings and symposiums that are organized by International Astronomical Union or other astronomy organizations here and abroad. So next is Miss Girly Cortez. She is one of the third batch of graduates of BS Astronomy in RTU. That was 2014. So mas senior lang kanya ng 1 year. And she is currently assigned sa Astronomical Publication Unit. So ito yung unit namin sa Pag-asa na nagpo-provide ng mga information about sunrise sunset, moonrise moonset, astronomical diary, yung mga astronomical events na maaari nating ma-observe for certain months. And also, she is the assistant National Outreach Coordinator of the Philippines, which was designated by International Astronomical Union Office for Astronomy Outreach. And she completed her meteorological technician training course last 2018, and siya yung top 1 among the class. So I would like to mention na itong meteorological technicians training course saka yung meteorologist training course, kung gusto niyo pumasok sa Pag-asa, not only for astronomy section, or kung gusto niyo interested kayo sa weather, sa climate, sa hydrometeorology, ito yung mga highly advisable na mga courses na ino-offer ng Pag-asa na dapat or hinahanap as a qualification ng isang individual. So, next, and ayan. Last sa presentation ko is Miss Julian Delda. Again, she is a graduate of BS Astronomy Technology sa RTU Boni Campus. She's one of among the 6th batch of graduates in 2017. She is also a cum laude, and she is currently assigned sa Planetarium Unit, and she is also the Planetarium lecturer at that sa unit namin. And she became the president of RTU AstroSoc from 2015 to 2016. So together with Miss Girly, she also completed the Meteorological Technicians Training course, that's 2018 rather. So she is the one top 2, parang next kay Miss Girly doon sa class nila. So ang galing ng mga BS Astro graduates. So I think that concludes my presentation. So thank you. I think later pa yung yung question and answer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ghela, for introducing to us the Filipino astronomers that have contributed to space exploration in many different ways. For those who have questions for Ms. Ghela Lequiron, the question and answer forum will be open after the next speaker finishes his talk. And now, let us proceed to our next speaker, an astronomer currently working full-time at Al Sadim Observatory, which is a privately owned astronomical observatory in Abu Dhabi. May we please welcome Aldrin Gabuya to tell us all about remarkable women in astronomy. May we please give him a virtual round of applause.
All right. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, sa mga teenagers. Basically, yeah, thanks again for another invite from BSYA. It's been a while from the previous talk na nakashare ako ng mga certain knowledge about astronomy. And now, for this theme, World Space Week, of course, ang tanging, oops, there's my hair there. Oops. Yeah, all right, there. Anyhow, so yung theme ng World Space Week basically is women in space. In fact, sinabi ko sa mga organizers sa BSYA, since women in space yung tema ng World Space Week natin, di ba? Supposedly, sinasuggest ko sa kanila, dapat babae lahat ng mga speakers. Para mas, di ba? Para mas may essence, di ba? Babae eh. But of course, as a man, I deeply respect that pretty much. And yeah, let's proceed with my talk. By the way nga pala, Aldrin Gabuya pala, nasa Abu Dhabi ako ngayon here in the UAE. And time check muna tayo. Ang oras dito sa UAE is 10:21 in the morning. So meron tayong 4 na oras difference. So mas nauna kayo dyan sa Pilipinas. So we're behind 4 hours. So anyhow, let's proceed. So here's the remarkable women pioneers in astronomy. So si Miss Ghela is nabigay niya yung pretty much the mga Filipinas. Now, I will be much more generalized. So, women pioneers. So, we'll go back like, as in way back in time. Kung saan yung ilang mga kababaihan ang nag-umpisa. Diba? They contributed some of the first information in astronomy. And babae to, pretty much. Okay, a little, parang, what should I call this? Like a heads up. Heads up lang So meron akong hinihandang twist sa bandang dulo ng aking lecture. Ang tabayanan niyan, meron akong twist na hinihanda. Right? So let's proceed. Next slide, please. All right. So kauna-unahang tao or babae in astronomy who contributed a lot in astronomy is Caroline Herschel. So magsinin niyo yung mismong apelyido niyan, Herschel. Diba? So who is she associated with? Of course, next slide. So keep on revealing the slide. Yan. So si William Herschel. Yan. So William Herschel. So kumbaga si Caroline Herschel, siya yung nakakabatang kapatid ni William Herschel. Nakalala naman natin na si William Herschel is also a well-known astronomer who contributed a lot also in astronomy. He discovered comets. He also discovered planet Uranus. Diba? And she is a woman of a lot of first. So, like, what do I mean? The first, like, a woman of a lot, diba? Parang a woman of first. So, marami siyang pioneer. So, she's also the first woman to discover a comet. She's also the first woman to officially recognized in a scientific position, making her the first professional female astronomer. And siya din yung kauna-unahang babae na nakareceive ng honorary membership into Britain's prestigious Royal Society. Like, tingnan nyo, dito sa may bandang right side, sa bottom right, ito yung isa sa mga sketches niya kung kailan niya na-discover yung kauna-unahang comet na nakita niya. Siya yung kauna-unahang babae na nakadiscover ng comet, si Caroline Herschel. Nakakamangha. Kumbaga, yung influence ng astronomy is namana niya sa kapatid niya. And making her, diba, nag-proceed siya into that path kasi na-inspire siya sa kapatid niya. Alright? That's pretty awesome. Next slide. Alright. Ito naman. Ito yung isa pang counterpart. Si Maria Mitchell. So, si Caroline Herschel, siya yung kauna-unang female astronomer. Take note, sa UK. Ito naman, si Maria Mitchell, siya yung kauna-unahang professional astronomer in the US. So siya yung counterpart ni Caroline Herschel, si Maria Mitchell. Yun nga, similar to Herschel, she gained recognition as the first American woman comet discoverer in 1847. Take note, 1847, wala pa yung mga, mga cameras, yung mga formal cameras na ginagamit natin yung pang picture-picture. Nakita niya lang niya to through her eyes alone. And you can see on the right side, yan, ito pa yung mga additional details about her. So take note, at 12, bata pa lang siya, at 12, she helped calculate the exact moment of an annular eclipse. 12 years old. Nakakapag-observe na siya ng annular eclipse at nag-calculate pa siya. Wow. And then ito, makikita nyo sa may bandang bottom left ng screen, at the bottom left, yan yung comet na pinakita niya actually. Or na-discover niya, na tinatawag niyang Miss Mitchell's Comet. Kung saan, dun siya nakilala. Right? He's also a first member ng faculty sa Vassar College where she taught astronomy. And yun nga, in her honor, because of her contributions to astronomy, is may pinangalan sa kanya na isang lunar crater. So why not, pag nag-observe kayo ng moon, I'm not necessarily sure kung visible siya sa sa mga photographs natin. Itong comet Mitchell. Yan. So maliit na comet lang siya, but because of her contributions to astronomy, is may pinangalan sa kanya na what do you call this? A crater sa moon. Right? Next slide. Ayan. Isa ito sa mga pinakahinahangaan kong women in space. Ito, si Henrietta Swan Leavitt. Bakit siya kahanga-hanga? Ito lang naman yan eh. Siya yung babaeng nakadiscover of another way how to find distances to other stars. So paano niya ba ito ginawa? So pansinin nyo, itong part na to, dito banda sa may bandang gitna. Yan, ito yung large or small and large Magellanic Clouds. So ito yung pinagbasihan niya ng kanyang discovery on how to develop a new way on how to find distances. Diba? Yung Cepheid variable stars. So yung tinatawag ng mga standard candles. So what about those things? So pansinin ninyo, dito sa may bandang kanan, dito, yan. Yan. So yung mga Cepheid variable stars, ito yung pinagbasihan ni Henrietta Swan Leavitt to determine distances. In what way? Yung mga stars na ito, yung mga stars na yan, they vary in brightness. They are variable stars. So variable stars, they change in brightness. They go bright and dim. However, in this case, sa mga Cepheid variable stars, they change their brightness in a certain pattern. Meron silang certain period. Kumbaga, umaangat sila, bumababa, umaangat, bumababa ng brightness. Mapapansin nyo, at a certain period. And then at the bottom of hers, dun sa bandang baba, ginamit niya yung basis ng mga Cepheid variable stars. She got all of those information. So inobserve niya like almost 1,000 variable stars sa Magellanic Clouds. And then she plotted it. So, yan, makikita niyo sa bandang baba. She plotted the, what do you call this, yung luminosity versus the period. And then mapapansin niyo sa bandang baba, yun nga, yung line, yung linear line na yan, she determined an actual relationship between brightness and disk and luminosity and period. There's a linear relationship. At yan ang pinagbasihan on how to determine distances. So medyo may mathematics pa dyan. But with this, ito yung malupit. Ito yung pinagbasihan din ni Edwin Hubble in order to explain that the universe is expanding. So kung mapapansin nyo, all throughout history, walang Edwin Hubble kung walang Henrietta Swan-Leavitt. So yung ginawa ni Henrietta Swan-Leavitt, basically, it paved the way to a new kind of astronomy in order for us to determine certain distances in the universe. Naalam pala natin na, mas malawak pala yung universe natin instead of the Milky Way. Meron pala iba pang galaxies, meron pa palang ibang stars na sobrang layo. Diba? Okay, next slide. Okay, isa pang well-known women pioneer in astronomy is ito, si Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin. Yan, si Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin, isa siyang parang sumunod na siya kay Swan-Leavitt. Diba? Nung nawala si Henrietta Swan-Leavitt, siya yung sumunod na women astronomy na nag-contribute sa astronomy. Yun nga, kumbaga. So siya yung babaeng nakapagpatunay the first conclusive evidence that the hydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. And siya rin ang nakapagpatunay na ang mga stars, including our sun, mostly made of hydrogen and helium. Paano niya ginawa yun? Ito, using these certain spectra. Yan, yung spectra na yan. So yung mga absorption lines, diba? May mga napansin siyang pattern sa spectra using this spectroscope. Diba? Yan, yung mga black and white na yan. And even the colored parts. Pansinin niyo sa may bandang bottom left ng screen. Sa may bottom left. Merong certain pattern na almost common to almost all kinds of stars. Dito sa may bandang bottom left, please. Yan, sa bottom left. Yan. Merong certain pattern dyan na it looks like there's a common pattern with all of those spectra. So that means yung mga patterns na yan in that spectra, it concludes that there's hydrogen and helium in most of the stars. Dati kasi pinaniniwalaan ng mga tao back in the day na yung mga stars is similar to what the Earth has. Diba? May mga complex elements din. But it turned out na that's not the case totally. Ng karamihan ng mga stars has hydrogen and helium. Yun. And how did she do it? She actually may nagkaroon ng debate dyan eh. Yung doctoral advisor niya na si Henry Norris Russell, hindi siya pabor sa gantong klaseng claim na ginawa ni Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin. At diniscourage siya na i-publish yan. But all turned out na pinatunayan ng kanyang doctoral advisor, tama pala si Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin. So that means, siya yung nakapagpatunay talaga na totoo nga na mga stars, they're mainly made out of hydrogen and helium. Diba? Na-discourage siya niyan back in the day na parang pinagsabihan siya ng mentor niya na wag mo i-publish yan kasing maling-mali yan. But it turned out, she has the courage to actually publish it and napatunayan niya na tama siya. Right? Next slide. Alright, si Annie Jump Cannon. Yan. Actually, nagugustuhan ko yung pangalan niya. Annie Jump Cannon. Diba? Jump tapos cannon. Diba? Nakakatawa. But something special about her is, yun nga, Si Annie Jump Cannon naman, yan, kasabayan yan ni Henrietta Swan Leavitt. Yan. Ano naman yung naging focus niya? Take note of this, siya yung nakapag-classify ng mga stars based on temperature. Si Cecilia Pinkaposhkin, di ba, yung sa elements and all of that. Si Annie Jump Cannon naman based on color and temperature. And take note, how many stars ang kanyang classify manually? 350,000 stars. Take note, wala pang computer nito. Hindi pa gaano ginagamit ang computer niyan. At paano niya kinaklasify yung mga stars? Pansin nyo, mano-mano. Tinitignan niya ng masinsinan. And she was able to come out with this knowledge. Yan. So ito yung widely na ginagamit ngayon ng mga astronomers in order to determine yung classification ng stars niyan. So alam na natin ngayon na ang mga stars hindi lang sila kulay white. Meron silang iba't ibang kulay. May red, may yellow, may blue. Yan yun. So next slide. Next lang tayo. Alright. Pansinin niyo yung bandang left. Yan. Sabay bandang baba. Ito yung classification ng mga stars based on temperature and the color. Merong magandang, what do you call this? Merong magandang parang catchphrase in order to remember yung classification ng stars. Kasi yun na yun OBAFGKM. So tandaan nyo lang to, like, ilan ba yung mga stars based on the color and temperature? So tandaan nyo lang tong catchphrase na to. Oh, be a fine girl, kiss me. Oh, be a fine girl, kiss me. So yan yun. So may mga certain stars na iba't iba yung temperature, iba sobrang init, kaya sila kulay blue, iba sobrang lamig, that's why they're color red. Yan yun. So, and next. Next tayo, please. And from that knowledge alone, okay, back tayo ng konti. Back tayo. Yan. So yan, from the combined knowledge of Cecilia Pinkaposhkin and Annie Jump Cannon, yun nga, what do you call this? Alright, yun nga, na-develop yung Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. So pinag-combine nila yung knowledge ni Gaposhkin sa ni Annie Jump Cannon to create this diagram called the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram. So pansinin nyo, na-classify na nila yung lahat ng stars in the universe that we know based on their color and their luminosity and their temperature. So walang Hertzsprung-Russell diagram kung wala sina Cecilia Gaposhkin sa si Annie Jump Cannon. So sila yung nag-pave the way to these kinds of astronomy. Diba ang galing? Sila yung nagpasimuno niyan. And then, tinuloy lang ng mga iba pang astronomers. So, it's widely used right now. Hanggang ngayon, ginagamit pa rin yung knowledge na yan. And of course, learning about astronomy, learning about stars, basically. Next. Alright. So, next woman in astronomy na i-share ko ay ito, si Nancy Grace Roman. So, what makes her special? So, she is the mother of the Hubble Space Telescope. In what way? Take note, siya yung kauna-unahang chief of astronomy ng NASA. Hindi siya yung first women chief. Siya yung kauna-unahang talagang chief of astronomy sa NASA. And, take note, babae pala nagpasimuno ng Hubble Space Telescope. She was highly involved in the development of NASA space telescopes, including, yun nga, Hubble Space Telescope. So, ilan to, yung nakikita nyo sa bandang bottom right, ilan to sa mga space telescopes wherein si Nancy Grace Roman got highly involved into. Diba? Take note, siya yung nanguna in the development of the Hubble Space Telescope, itong si Nancy Grace Roman. Sobrang nahanga din ako sa ganitong klaseng babae na they are actually paving the way in new kinds of technologies and knowledge. Kumbaga. Next slide. Ayan. For sure, nakita nyo na itong picture na ito or you might somehow encountered it. Diba? Itong si Margaret Hamilton. Siya yung computer scientist who led the development of an onboard flight software for NASA Apollo moon missions. So siya yung programmer na highly involved in the development of certain programs na nakatulong sa Apollo 11 in the first moon landing. She's the woman behind behind those mga computer code na in-install sa spacecraft kung saan nakasakay sina Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, saka si Michael Collins at nakarating sila sa moon. Nagkaroon nga ng issue nga dyan eh. May mga certain time nga na during the Apollo missions na nagkakamali din yung astronauts. Kunwari, may napindot na maling button. Kumbaga, si Margaret Hamilton, siya yung naka-develop ng, what do you call this, ng mga emergency programs. Parang backup software. Kung sakaling pumalya, siya yung gumawa nun ng mga emergency software. Kumbaga, pag pipindutin mo lang to, you will recover. Diba? Ang galing. Actually, ito yun. Yung famous na picture niya sa bandang left. Like, take note. Itong lahat ng papel na ito, like a bulk of paper na yan. Yan yung computer program niya in order to write the software to successfully execute yung Apollo 11 mission. Like, tignan nyo, tambak-tambak na papel yan. And sinulat niya yan by hand bago niya prenogram. Kasi yung during that time, during her time, di ba, 1960s, 1970s, hindi pa ganun laganap yung field na tinatawag na software engineering. Hindi pa kilala yan. Yung software engineering back in the 1969, 1970s. Kumbaga siya yung nag-pave the way in order to fully what do you call this? Further ma-expand pa yung software engineering field. Di ba? Si Margaret Hamilton. And yung application ng computer science into astronomy and spacecraft. So she's one of the pioneers in that field alone. Diba? At nakapagpa-launch pa siya. Diba? Nakatulong siya sa Apollo 11. Right? Next slide. Ayan. Isa to sa mga pinakagusto kong stories. Kasi ito si Caroline S. Shoemaker. So take note of this story. Yan. Makikita nyo naman sa slide. So, of course, nung bata pa lang siya, wala siyang hilig sa astronomy. She had little interest in science. Gustong-gusto niya yung iba pang fields of science. But, because of her husband, yan, si Eugene Shoemaker, who is a stargazer all throughout his life, siya yung nakapagpa-influensya sa asawa niya si Caroline to be, why not pursue this field? And then yun nga, because of their mutual respect to each other, ang ganda ng tandem nila, she was eventually got inspired to pursue this field of astronomy. And take note, kailan niya sinimulan yung kanyang astronomical career? 1980, when she's 51 years old. 51 years old. Nasa 50s na siya nung nagsimula siya mag-astronomy. So, tandaan nyo guys, age doesn't matter pagdating sa pag-pursue ng certain field. Pero kayo, sa mga kabataan, maganda yan na bata pa lang kayo. Gusto niyo na ng astronomy. So you will definitely go a much longer way. And all throughout, tuloy-tuloy na naging career ni Caroline S. Shoemaker wherein she discovered 32 comets and more than 500 asteroids. And the most notable is ito. Yan. Yung nasa baba. Shoemaker-Levy 9 comet. In which, next lang tayo, itong comet na ito is well known to impact Jupiter back in 1994. Yan yung comet na gumawa ng sort of scar, kasi tumama mismo yan eh. Yung comet na yan is na-attract ng Jupiter, then tumama siya sa surface or sa atmosphere rather, making this scar. So dito siya sobrang nakilala, si Shoemaker, si Caroline Shoemaker. So siya sa mga co-discoverer ng comet na yan. Hanggang ngayon, it's a remarkable comet, basically. So, Shoemaker-Levy 9 comet. Alright, next. Ayan. Ngayon, isa siyang notable women in astronomy nowadays. Ito, si Vera Cooper Rubin. Why is she so famous at the moment? Kasi nga, siya yung nag-pave the way. Siya yung nag-umpisa and nag-further na nag-expand ng knowledge natin about dark matter. Na hanggang ngayon, hindi pa rin maintindihan ng mga astronomers ano ba tong dark matter na ito. Paano niya na-discover yung dark matter? So she dealt with the galactic rotation problem. So mapapansin nyo, so next lang tayo ng konti. Next lang. Ayan. Yan. So, base dito sa kanyang discovery, paano niya na-discover itong dark matter na ito? May mga prior astronomers din na nag-hypothesize na maaring dark matter. Diba? But based on this graph alone, yan, makikita natin sa graph alone. So, nag-observe siya ng several stars sa isang galaxy or even multiple galaxies. And then she plotted yung kanilang relatively, ito gamit niya yung mismong spectrograph din ang gamit niya, spectrograph, in order to determine yung rotational velocity and of course calculations. Napansin niya, the farther the stars mula sa sentro ng galaxy, nagtaka sila, bakit mabilis pa rin yung rotation ng galaxies around, di ba? Napakabilis pa rin ng rotation ng mga stars in the outer part ng galaxy. Dapat, 'di ba, parang 'di ba, kung logically speaking, kung matatandaan natin, 'di ba, sa solar system, 'di ba? Nandoon yung sun. Dapat yung mga planets na mas malayo sa sun, supposedly habang lumalayo ka, dapat mabagal yung ikot, 'di ba? Yung orbit niya, si Mercury siya yung pinakamabilis umikot sa araw. Si Neptune yung pinakamabagal kasi sobrang layo niya. But for galaxies, napansin nila hindi ganoon yung kaso. Pansinin nyo dito sa may bandang right side, di ba? Yung mga outer stars, nung graph niya to, napansin niya yung mga outer stars sa galaxies is sobrang bilis umikot pa rin compared sa mga inner arms ng galaxies. So there could be something there. So parang napansin niya like, that doesn't make sense kung gravity lang ang may pakana nito. There could be something that holds that galaxies together. So supposedly, dapat kung sobrang bilis umikot yung mga stars sa galaxy, dapat tumitilapon na sila if that's the case. There could be some hidden matter na nagho-hold sa mga galaxies na yan. And that's why they think of it as dark matter. Why is it dark matter? Hindi nakikita. It's unseen. Dark matter. Meron akong i-share na, yun nga, nakalagay na rin sa slide natin. Isang famous quotation niya. Gustong-gusto ko itong quotation niya, especially sa mga tao na who would pursue astronomy as their field for the rest of their life. Sabi niya mismo, fame is fleeting. My numbers mean more to me than my name. Sobrang humble niya. If astronomers are still using my data years from now, that's my greatest compliment. And it still does. Nagkatotoo yung sinabi ni Vera Rubin. Hanggang ngayon, sinusubukan ng mga astronomers na intindihin itong dark matter na ito. Kasi hindi pa talaga nila totally naiintindihan ano ba itong dark matter na ito. Kasi hindi nga nakikita eh. And paano na-discover ni Vera Rubin yung dark matter? Is by measuring the rotation velocity of stars around the galaxy. There should be something na nag-hold sa galaxies other than gravity. Right? Next. Next slide. Yan. Isa pang well-remarkable women in astronomy, itong si Jocelyn Bell Burnell. So why is she also well-known? She's a woman pioneer in astronomy in a sense that she discovered all about pulsating radio stars. Pulsars. Diba? So ano yung ginamit niyang apparatus to discover these pulsars? So, yung mga pulsars, 'di ba, also known as yung iba pang mga pulsars, are also neutron stars that they radiate a very powerful radiation. And then they radiate, we detect those radio signals by pulse. So para silang yun, pulse in a form of pulse, 'di ba? So paano niya na-detect to? So they use this certain radio telescope. And based on her description of that apparatus, itong radio telescope na nakikita niyo sa baba na ginamit niya, it's about the size of 5 tennis ball courts. 5 tennis courts yung size nitong radio telescope. So napakalaki in order to discover itong mga pulsars na it was first discovered by Jocelyn Bell Burnell. Right? So next slide lang tayo. Next, please. Yan. So, paano niya na-discover ito? Ito yung eksaktong time kung kailan niya na-discover itong mga pulsars na ito. So ito yung mga radio waves ito, mga radio signals na natanggap niya. This is way back in 1967. So back lang tayo, sorry. Kindly back. Yan. So itong CP 1919 na ito, which is yung coordinates. So 1919, which is parang code nila yan where they found this pulsar. So akala nila, itong mga radio signals na ito, yung mga pulsars, napansin nila is that parang napapansin nila na yung apparatus parang hindi gumagana. There should be something wrong with it. Pero nung inulit-ulit nila yung analysis na talagang meron nga silang na-detect na pulsar radiation na natanggap ng kanilang radio receiver na pagkalaki-laki. Kasi itong pulsar na ito, sobrang layo nito. I cannot remember exactly yung mismong distance niya. Maybe about 100,000 light years from Earth. Itong pulsar na ito na na-discover nila. But generally speaking, siya yung kauna-unang babae na nakadiscover itong certain type of neutron stars called pulsars. So kumbaga, para silang lighthouse. Diba? Yung mga lighthouse, diba? Parang umiikot-ikot yung ilaw. So that's the basic description ng pulsars in a nutshell. Yung mga pulsars na yan, nadidetect natin sila once yung radiation nila is nakatapat sa atin. Like, and it radiates in a certain pulsation. May period, like, tuk, tuk, para nagsasnap. Basically. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide po tayo. Yan. Okay. Yan. Isa to sa mga pinaka-latest na women pioneer in astronomy na also ako hinahangaan ko rin tong yan, si Dr. Andrea M. Guess. Oh, excuse me. Next. Ano tayo? Back tayo. Yan. Si Andrea Guess, she's one of the latest Nobel Prize laureate. Ngayon, like kahapon lang, I think like few days ago, may bago ng Nobel laureate. But of course, si Dr. Andrea M. Guess, siya yung Nobel Prize winner back in 2020 for her contribution to this type of science. So siya yung nakadiscover about certain properties of the supermassive black hole Sagittarius A. So nalaman natin na meron din palang black hole sa mismong galaxy natin. Hindi lang yung iba pang galaxies, but of course, the direct evidence the existence of a black hole sa mismong Milky Way galaxy. And how she did it. So ginamit niya yung Keck telescope and she created like this. So sa may bandang upper right ng slide natin. Pansinin niyo like yung raw data, 'di ba? Puro blurb lang. Parang walang kwenta yung image. But she developed an algorithm. May na-develop siyang technique in order to ma-improve yung resolution ng image. At doon nila na-detect itong supermassive black hole na ito. And take note, hindi lang isang image yung ginamit nila dyan. Yung tinatawag na adaptive optics. Yung ibig sabihin ng adaptive optics, yung telescope, basically, is it adapts to the turbulence ng atmosphere. So, algorithm yan. So, parang kumbaga, diba, from a certain blurred image, nagawa niyang high res. Diba? Galing yung adaptive optics technology. So, algorithm siya and certain telescopes, meron ng ganitong klaseng technologies. Okay? And paano niya na-discover yung Sagittarius A? So, using, yung mapapansin nyo sa simulation sa baba, ayan, itong certain star na ito na tinatawag na SO2, napansin niya is elliptical orbit. So napansin niya, yan, yung iba pang stars na nagta-travel around the black hole. Napansin niya yung gumanon siya. Bigla siyang umikot. So, of course, she's also testing yung Einstein's theory of relativity, which also suggests na mayroong ang black hole at the center of the galaxy. And paano niya na ito napatunayan na meron ng black hole? Take note, she gathered data for almost 15 years ng Sagittarius A from 1995 to 2010 in order to postulate and to further conclude the existence of that black hole. Diba? And because of that efforts, take note, she acquired the Nobel Prize in Physics back in 2020 because of this remarkable discovery of the supermassive black hole Sagittarius A. Next slide. Next slide tayo. All right. Next slide tayo. Yan. Yan. Okay, next slide tayo, sir. All right, yan. Okay, so lastly, itong women in astronomy na i-share ko, ito ay si Dr. Katie Bauman. So si Dr. Katie Bauman, just like Margaret Hamilton, she's the computer scientist din siya. Computer scientist, okay, back tayo suddenly. So computer scientist who played a significant role in the development of an algorithm for imaging black holes. So black holes na naman. Diba? Ito naman, iba yung naging focus niya. She was a part of a huge team ng Event Horizon Telescope kung saan they gathered a lot of data from several radio telescopes from around the world in order to develop the first image of a black hole in M87. So take note, ito, for sure nakita nyo to sa Facebook, sa social media pages, itong picture na ito ni Dr. Katie Bauman na which she has a lot of, what do you call this? A lot of data. Kung si Margaret Hamilton, gabundok na papel, siya naman gabundok na hard drives. And take note, this is petabytes of data, like several terabytes yan of data. So that is almost like 1,000 gig or more than 2,000 or 5,000 gig ng data yan in order to image a black hole. So through her efforts, so isa siya sa mga nag-play ng role in developing the algorithm. So isa siya sa mga nanguna in developing this technique in imaging black holes. And because of that, we had a much more discrete evidence of the existence of black holes in galaxies. Thanks to her team, the Event Horizon Telescopes, and yung donut shape na yan, yung kulay orange. It's a discrete picture, the first ever picture of a black hole. So kitang-kita na natin na meron talagang singularity, meron talagang accretion disk, yung Schwarzschild radius. Mas nakikita na natin ngayon, like ano ba talaga yung nasa gitna ng galaxy, aside from Dr. Andrea Guess, yung Sagittarius A. Yan, si Katie Bauman, part siya ng team na nakapag-reveal the first image of a black hole. Next. Next slide tayo. Yan. Next slide tayo, please. Yan. Ito. In this case, how about women in astronomy dito sa UAE kung saan ako nakabase ngayon? Here in the UAE, yan sa UAE, take note of this Ito yung kakaiba. The majority of women staff sa UAE Space Agency ay babae. Tayo. Yan. Sa UAE Space Agency, basically karamihan sa mga babae dito sa UAE Space Agency, yun nga, they highly involved in the development yung kanilang mga space programs, including pag-assemble ng mga spacecrafts and space satellites. And take note, itong kasunod na batch ng UAE astronaut program, ito si Nora Al-Matroushi, she will be the first women Arab astronaut pag nangyari to. So nakakahanga. Even yung chief ng UAE Space Agency na si Sarah bint Yusuf Al-Amiri, take note, sino yung nangunguna, ilan sa mga nangunguna sa Space Agency? Babae. So nakakahanga. Like there's actually like nakikita ng UAE Space Agency yung tinatawag na equality. Diba? Yung equality in terms of getting involved into these types of careers. Diba? So they highly value it. Diba? Respeto lang basically sa kanila. So kung kaya ng lalaki, tulungan lang with the women, diba? They make a solid team. And of course, once na ma-launch itong next UAE astronaut, diba? Si Nora Al-Matroushi, she will make another history. Kumbaga. Next slide. Alright, next slide tayo. Ayan. So yan, ito nga lang ito, ayan. Yan, itong part na ito is that medyo depressing ng konti. Pero yun nga, astronomy is, yun nga, yan. So astronomy is losing women 3 times faster than men. Siyempre, alam naman natin na marami tayong certain na gustong ma-attain sa buhay natin, basically. Alright, medyo nagugulan ng konti. Yan. Siguro skip na lang tayo dyan sa ano natin. Skip to the last slide. Yung may picture ni Kim Chiu. Kasi ito medyo ano to, technical to eh. Ayan. Ito yung twist. This is the last part of our talk ngayon. Yan. Ito yung kakaiba dyan. So since yung team natin is all about women in space. Ansin niya. Okay lang. Yan. Medyo na ano lang. Nade-delay kasi. Alright. There. Sa mga kalalakihan dyan na nakaantabay ngayon sa symposium ngayon, at iba ba dyan sa Facebook Live? For sure, there will be certain time na makaka-encounter kayo ng ganitong klaseng babae. To men when encountering this type of women. So right now, itong twist na ito, I'm speaking out of my experience and of course learning from others. So kapag you encounter this type of women, tandaan nyo itong mga pointers na ito. Okay? Number 1, so or generally speaking, ansayin nyo yung unang quotation ko dyan is treat a woman like a nerd. What do I mean treat a woman like a nerd? Ganito. Itong mga kababaihan na ito na finiture ko all throughout my talk, I consider this type of women as strong, independent woman. SIW. Or you could consider them as HQW, high quality woman. Yan. Mga nerdo sila, they can do their own thing. Lalo na ngayon, ang astronomy is highly collaborative field and they can lead the way. Diba? Ito, di ba, pansinin nyo sa may bandang bottom right ng picture. Kung matatandaan nyo yung movie na yan, yung reference ko dyan is yung First Day High. So si Kim Chiu, she played the part of the brainy high. She's the nerdy type of girl. Di ba? Me, in my personal experience, naka-encounter ako ng mga ganyang klaseng babae. And honestly, for me as a man, yan yung mga type ko. Yung mga nerdong babae. Why? Because they are SIW, strong, independent woman. Now, balik tayo sa quotation ko dyan. Treat a woman like a nerd. Like, ano yun? Paano yung treat a woman like a nerd? Okay. Explain ko na. Yan. So second point, pansinin nyo dyan. Don't mind her good looks. Focus on what she does which is genuinely interesting to you. Lalo na pag maganda yung nerdong babae niya, minsan mabibighani ka na lang, mai-intimidate ka eh. Diba? But don't mind her good looks. Pansinin mo lang siya in a way like, ano ba yung interesting sa kanya? Aside from her good looks, ano ba yung ginagawa niya na nakapagpabighani sa inyo, basically? Don't mind her good looks. Focus on what she does na interesting sa iyo. Okay? Take note, does. Actions speak louder than words. Okay? Huwag kayo basta magbase sa sinasabi lang niya. Focus on what she does. Okay? Yan. Tip ko to sa mga kalalakihan ngayon. Even though yung iba sa mga kabataan ngayon, dyan na nakita ko sa audience is medyo bata pa sa mga ganitong klaseng usapan. Pero kailangan nyo na malaman to as early as possible. Kung sakali man na darating kayo sa ganitong klaseng situations, yun nga, when encountering this type of women, at least alam nyo na kung anong gagawin nyo. And you will not commit the mistakes that I have done myself. Right? Third point, how do you treat a woman like a nerd is be a challenge. What do I mean by that? Be a challenge. Ang mga strong independent women, tulad ng mga women in space, meron silang kanya-kanyang ginagawa. Merong mga sariling trip yung mga yan. Be a challenge. Kung matalino siya, why not higitan mo siya? Be a challenge. Like, ikaw dapat yung mag-spark ng interest sa babaeng yan. Basically. Right? Be a challenge. Like, treat a woman like a nerd. Parang good vibes lang. You can talk about random stuff na very interesting, di ba? Doon kayo magbibuild ng connections eh. Hindi lang sa usapang relationships and also building connections when it comes to careers basically. Di ba? You're building a network. Saka pipili ka ng friends, di ba? Kailangan same vibes kayo, same wavelength kumbaga. Be a challenge. Fourth point na nakalagay dyan is that respect. Respect. Yun lang yun. Kahit sinong tao yan, ano man ang kasarian niya ng taong yan na kinakausap mo, respect is number one. Diba? Tandaan natin yung sinabi ni Confucius, diba? Yung golden rule na tinatawag. Diba? Do not do unto others what you do not want others do to you. So kung ayaw mo mabastos, huwag kang mambastos. Kung gusto mong marespeto ka na ibang tao, respetuhin mo sila. That's it. Common sense na lang basically. Kahit sino yan. Sa kapwa lalaki, of course sa opposites, gender, di ba? Respect pa rin. Yan yung gustong-gusto ng mga tao. Diba? Lalo na sa mga mas nakakatanda sa'yo. Okay? Fifth point is that know your worth. Ito, anong ibig ko sabihin know your worth? In my case, I know my worth. I deserve a high quality woman. I will not settle for less. Meron akong standard na hinahanap when it comes to dating or relationships if I want to get encountered with this type of women. Diba? Know your worth. Diba? I deserve a high quality woman. So how do I do that? I should be a high quality man. Ganun lang yun. Know your worth. I will not settle for less. Diba? If you want to build connections, or kahit sa usapang jowa na, diretsahan tayo, go for the gold na. Go for the best. Diba? Tandaan niyo yan, guys. Sa mga, yung ilang sa mga, what do you call this? Sa mga pointers ko dyan, applicable din yan sa mga babae, basically. Women in space. Okay? And last but not the least is that remain stoic. Remain stoic. Ano ibig sabihin ng stoic? Kalmado ka lang. Parang wala lang. You're not bothered with a lot of things na nangyayari sa'yo. At nakakapag-isip ka pa rin na maayos. That's stoicism. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng stoic. Yung nakakapag-isip ka pa rin ng maayos kahit ang dami ng kaguluhan sa mundo, kalmado ka pa rin. Diba? Yun yung stoic. And ito, kung masasabi ko lang sa mga young men right over there, at even sa mga kababaihan, young men and young women, be patient and move on. Huwag niyong madaliin yan. Alam niyo na yung tinutukoy ko. Huwag niyong madaliin yan. Be patient. Hinay-hinay lang. I'm speaking this out of my experience. I committed the typical mistakes na masyado akong nagmadali. Tapos wala, nabasted lang din. Bakit? Nagmadali ako masyado akong nagbigay ng attention sa ibang tao So ano nangyari? Nag-expect ako agad. Ano nangyari? Wala. Na-disappoint lang ako. And move on. Move on. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng move on? Hindi naman sa iwanan mo na. Not necessarily. Meron second meaning yung move on The second meaning of move on is improve or progress. Improve yourself. Diba? As time passes, you improve yourself. Strive to be the best version of yourself. Diba? Applicable yan sa lahat. Be patient and move on. Lalo na sa mga kabataan yan. I'm speaking this sa mga students yan sa BSYA. Diba? Be patient and move on. Hindi lang sa relationships, pati sa career, pati sa pag-aaral. Applicable yan yung mga pointers na yan. Okay? So remember, guys, this mga pointers na yan. Especially when you're encountering this type of people. Diba? Yung mga strong independent woman, strong independent man, mga high quality. Diba? Of course, looks matter sa umpisa. However, yun nga. Kailangan is, patient and move on lang tayo. And respect. Yun lang. Okay? Last slide. Last slide na tayo. Yan. Ayan. So I will leave you with these two quotations. Yan. To get from the first two or from the first pioneers in astronomy. So sa mga kababaihan, I'll leave this message. So fresh from Cecilia Payne Gaposchkin. Yan. So sinabi niya, do not undertake a scientific career in quest of fame or money. There are easier and better ways to reach them. Undertake it only if nothing else will satisfy you. For nothing else is probably what you will receive. Your reward will be the widening of the horizon as you climb. And if you achieve that reward, you will ask no other. So kung mag-undertake kayo ng scientific career, do not take it para magpasikat or magpakayaman. Gawin nyo siya dahil gusto nyo siyang gawin. You want to pursue a scientific career dahil gusto nyo yan. Yan yung talagang itinalaga sa iyo, yung destiny nyo to become a scientist. So, napaka-inspiring na quotation yun from Cecilia Payne Gaposchkin herself. And lastly, kay Maria Mitchell, yun nga, medyo related siya sa last slide kanina, di ba? You cannot get a man of genius to explain steps. He leaps. So, ang mga scientists, they're also risk takers. Minsan yung mga ideas nila parang walang kwenta, nakakatawa, but still, they take risks on trying to prove their points. Kasi ganun naman talaga ang science eh. Diba? You're going outside the box. You're thinking of other things na parang mukhang imposible, pero napatunayan mo na tama pala. So that's the best feeling. That's how science actually works. It's either you prove a theory or you disprove a theory. In fact nga, ganun pala actually ginagawa ang Nobel Prize eh. In Nobel Prize in Physics. It's either you prove a theory or you disprove a theory, in which it should be consistent. Okay? So remember these quotations and naway na-inspire kayo sa aking talk about women in space. And yun nga. Shukran jazilan. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Yan lang. So, yun na. Last slide. Last slide na tayo. As a greetings of conclusion na. Yan. So, feel free to follow us. Yun nga, follow nyo lang yung aming social media accounts, Al-Sadim Observatory, if you're curious about it. Nandiyan kami sa Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Yan, so yun nga. Thank you very much, Bedan Society of Young Astronomers, for having me, and happy World Space Week sa inyong lahat.
Thank you very much, Sir Aldrin Gabuya, for introducing us to the different women pioneers in astronomy. I am quite surprised, to be honest po, that there are a lot of women throughout history that have contributed in a once male-dominant field, especially po sa mga tips mo when encountering a strong and independent woman, which I might use when I encounter someone that's really passionate about what she does. Thank you po, sir, once again. Moving on, we hope you are still there because it is now time for the open forum. We are now open to your queries and thoughts on today's webinar. You may unmute your microphones or type them in the chat box. So are there any questions? So does anyone want to ask a question? Because if you don't have any questions for now, I have a question to both Ma'am Ghela and Sir Aldrin po. So, Sir and Ma'am, I once watched po an astronomy related na movie po, which yung movie po is called Hidden Figures. It represents po yung mga black females na nagwo-work po sa astronomy, which they were being discriminated and all that po due to their racial structure. So, yung tanong ko lang po is that is there some sort of discrimination po that is still occurring in today's generation po?
So I'm not, can I answer first, Alvin? Yeah. So I think I can answer sa pag-asa kasi doon ako may work experience. So I can say na sa pag-asa hindi tinitignan ang ang kanyang ang tawag dito gender, hindi siya gender bias. Actually, para ma-employ ka sa pag-asa, ang tinitingnan talaga nila is your credentials. So I think in the Philippines, slowly, we are parang na bi-break na natin yung ganun na mga may gender bias, may discrimination. So I hope magtuloy-tuloy yun kasi napakagandang achievement nun na hindi natin nililimit sa gender yung view natin or yung space natin for us. So, thank you. And I would like to mention pala, kasi kahapon nga meron kaming webinar. So, our resource speakers also mentioned some questions na how about yung mga male-dominated fields like yung sa space, mostly sa space sector, no? So in NASA and some other places, hindi na din sila they try to be very inclusive na regardless of your race, regardless of your gender, they try to look kung ano talaga yung achievements mo, and also your attitude is a very good consideration din. So thank you.
Yeah, in my case naman is still male-dominating pa rin yung field ng STEM, basically. But nowadays, unti-unti na siya, just like Ma'am Ghela said, diba? Unti-unti na siya nagiging balance ngayon. Yun nga, kagaya na nabanggit ko nga sa mga tips, di ba? Respect lang. Di ba? Respect. Kung meron naman siya certain qualities or certain skill na kaya niya gawin yung certain skill na yan, diba? Why not? Consider it. Like honestly, like dun nga sa mga nabanggit ko na astronomers, yung mga women pioneers in astronomy, sila yung nakaranas sa mga ganyang klaseng discrimination. Yan, kagaya nila Henrietta Swan-Leavitt, si Kaposhkin, kahit nga si Jocelyn Bell Burnell Yun nga, actually controversy yan yung nangyari kay Jocelyn Bell Burnell, na dapat kasama siya sa Nobel Prize, pero hindi siya nasama. Hindi pa rin talaga natin maiiwasan yung discrimination. May mga tao pa rin na sadyang ignorante lang talaga, na walang respeto kasi they want to self-elevate themselves. But still, just prove them wrong. Kung ayaw nila ng trip mo, just iwas ka na lang sa kanila. Diba? It's the same pretty much in any other fields. May mga, siyempre, hindi lang women scientists lang yan. Even women entrepreneurs nakakaranas ng ganyan discrimination. Kasi nga, gender bias pa rin. Parang napakaano naman, childish nung ganong klaseng pag-iisip. That's why whenever I encounter certain women in STEM, just like women in space, hanga ako dyan sa mga yan. SIW nga, di ba? Strong, independent women sila. And that's what I like. Kasi same vibes. Ang tanging common denominator lang naman in order to treat all people of any gender, anumang claim nila sa kanilang gender, is just respect. Yun lang.
Thank you po, sir and ma'am. Ma'am Ghela, may isa pa po akong question po, specifically for you. Ano po yung advice mo po na pwede mong ibigay sa mga female students that are striving to become astronomers in the future?
So, siguro try to medyo cliche pero talagang be good in your studies kasi is sooner or later para although isang factor lang naman yung academic achievements mo, di ba? So, may factor pag cum laude ko or mataas or A-lister ka. Pero may factor din yung yung attitude mo towards work and experiences and all. Pero I would like to emphasize na talagang as early as now, kung gusto mo talaga mag-pursue ng STEM, kung gusto maging astronomer, physicist, or any science-related course na gusto mong tahakin, engineering, ganyan, as early as now, pagbutihan nyo na. Try to read, try to watch. Napakadami na nating resources ngayon. Madami ng webinars para kung medyo lost kayo, pwede kayong manood ng mga inspirational na mga webinars about women in space, ganyan, and their struggles para malaman mo na, ay, hindi lang pala ako yung nag-i-struggle ng ganito. Siya, tinitingalang tao siya, pero nag-struggle din siya. So, kaya ko to. So, parang ganon. I remembered yung webinar kahapon. Dr. Perez said that yung mga kabataan natin, medyo nakukulangan lang tayo ng mga role models. That's why we set up several webinars like this, para mas ma-inspire natin yung mga kabataan natin na okay lang yan, may struggles talaga tayo sa buhay, pero try to be positive and also try to do your best, especially sa school. Ganon. Thank you.
Thank you po, ma'am. That is something that for both genders po can remember and can use if for them if they're trying to pursue their love for astronomy or in any field that they want to pursue in life. So, does anyone have any more questions for our lovely guest speakers? While waiting for more questions to be brought up, I would like to ask a couple of students that are currently still here in watching the webinar on what they've understood so far or their takeaways from what our two speakers have taught to us in this webinar. So I would like to start with sino ba pwede? So I would like to start with 11 Stempor Cabanero, Judea. Hello. Hello. How are you? I think she's currently experiencing technical difficulties. Hello, ma'am.
Ay, sorry
Hello?
po minute po kasi ako kanina. Okay naman po. Wala naman po akong tanong.
Ay, hindi naman sa tanong, but rather, ano yung mga naintindihan mo sa discussion ng dalawa nating mga guest speakers?
Actually, yung mga naiintindihan ko po kanina, yung mga colors po ng comet. Kasi parang kinlear nyo po sa amin na hindi lahat po ng color po talaga is white lang. So, pinakita po yung iba't ibang color po.
Okay, thank you. So may I ask another one? So may I please call on from GNVHS 8 Zinia Santos. Hello, bro. Are you there? Are you still kicking? Are you still? Hello? Hello? I think he's... Okay, I'll just call on another one then. So, may I please call on our lovely president, Miss Angeline Kilang. Oh my, I ran out of words, my apologies. But may I please call on our lovely president, Miss Angeline Kilang? Hello, Angeline? Hello? Mrs. President? Hello?
Hello? Rinig na ba ako?
Yes.
Shiba,
So,
bakit? Bakit ako?
I mean, you're our lovely president. So, I might as well ask you some things first. But how are you? How are you, madam?
Tulala? Paano ba yun? Pwede ba yun?
So, ask ko lang kung may takeaways ka sa mga sinabi ng mga dalawa nating guest speakers for this webinar. Do you have any takeaways?
Actually, natanong mo na yung kanina, yung about dun nga sa hidden figures. Yung round of discrimination about girls. Kasi diba nga, sometimes they don't like appreciate yung ng girls. Lalo na pagdating sa mga works na parang mahirap like this. Yung about sa NASA, about engineering stuff kasi nga 'di ba? Tutak na sa utak ng mga tao na guys can do those stuffs but girls cannot. So parang sa akin dun sa nabanggit ni Sir Aldrin, natuwa ako kasi nga you should treat girls like nerds kasi everybody has their characteristics and capabilities on how they act or how they manipulate things kasi we know naman na every people has their own skills na kaya nilang i-enhance and kaya din nilang mas ipakita na kaya nilang gawin yan. Ayan.
Thank you, Madam President. That was, in fact, a nice takeaway, in my opinion. So, moving on, I would like to ask another student, Kuya Bagumboy. Kuya Bagumboy, hello. Hello? Can you hear me or can you answer me? At least a hi or something. Hello? Don't be shy, bro. We're just having a normal discussion here on what your takeaways are from the webinar. Okay, moving on. Kathleen Joy De Jesus. Hello. Hello. Oh, she turned off her camera. Oh my. So, are there any questions that you guys want to ask? Oh, I want to call on Kuya GC Cascolan. Kuya GC, are you there? Hello? Hello po? Kuya GC. Kuya GC, hello?
Hi.
Oh, hi Kuya GC. So, Kuya GC, how are you na po? How's college life?
Buhay pa naman. Natatapos ko lang sa meeting thereabouts.
Okay, that's nice. And I would like to ask you for yung mga takeaways mo sa webinar na ito.
The webinar talking about women in space and women empowerment, we should be aware naman na yung best takeaway dito is to support those women, especially women who are still being discriminated in the workplace. I believe naman po na nabanggit kanina yung yung astronomer, yung bagong astronaut na female na pumunta sa space. And I believe this is just one of the many steps din. So yun din, to wrap it all up, women empowerment, women for power.
So, I think that almost lahat ng mga grade 8 natin is nagkakaroon ng technical issues since they cannot hear yung mga salita natin. Oh, there's a question from Natividad. So, is being an astronomer chosen by nationality and status?
Yeah, I'll answer that first. Definitely not. Definitely not. So it doesn't matter what your nationality is, yung gender, kung gaano ka kayaman, even though it might certain, diba, merong part doon na syempre, you still need money, diba, definitely. wala naman talagang libre sa mundo. But, di ba, like, if you're willing to take the price of choosing that career path, gaya niya na nabanggit ko nga basically dun sa final points ko is that, sabi nga ni Cecilia Pinkaposhkin, di ba? Like, gusto mo siyang gawin. Kahit anong mangyari, yan ang gusto mong gawin. Kahit magka-chaos na yung buong mundo, yan pa na yung gagawin mo. Kasi dyan ka makakaranas ng peace of mind eh. Di ba? Kailangan payapa ka sa ginagawa mo. This is what I've been experiencing right now. Honestly, dito ka sa trabaho ko sa Al-Sadim. So, gusto ko siyang gawin. Wala akong masyadong kasama dito sa observatory. But I really like what I do here. So it doesn't matter basically nationality, status, di ba? So you need to work your way up basically. Progress yan. Dapat pa ganun. You might stumble at certain point. Di maiwasan yan. But be willing to continue and never give up attitude basically.
Thank you for that, Sir Aldrin. Sa'yo, Miss Ghela, do you have any comment on the question? Do you have any answer sa question po ni Natividad?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. No? So para sa akin naman, naniniwala pa rin ako sa kasabihan na if there's a will, there's a way. So kung gusto mo siya, kung gusto maging astronomer or whatever, or whoever you want to be, maraming ways ngayon, especially ngayon, ang dali na lang mag-search. Kung gusto mo mag-aral ng astronomy, ang dali na lang mag-search kung saan or kung papaano. So ayun, and walang boundaries. Ang isang tao na driven sa gusto niya ay walang boundaries, walang makakapigil sa kanya to attain what you want to do, what you want to be. So ayun, siguro ayun din yung gusto kong i-emphasize, especially dun sa question na yun. Thank you.
May question na naman po. From Aaron Yeager. Wow, may anime character pala dito. Kung kayo po ay magkakaanak, may re-recommenda mo po ba sa kanya ang pagiging astronomer?
So sa akin, if ever magiging parent ako na lang muna sasagot, Aldrin. Maaaring i-introduce ko sa kanya ang world or ang iba-ibang aspeto ng pagiging astronomer. Pero hindi ko sa kanya i-impose na maging astronomer ka. Siyempre, bilang, if ever, magiging magulang, you have to support kung anong gusto ng magiging anak mo. Kung gusto niya lang maging hobby ng astronomy, then be it. Parang ganun lang yung aking perspective.
Okay, thank you po, ma'am. So, last question po before we proceed. So, anong grade po ang kailangan para maging astronomer po?
That's a tough one. Actually, yung pagdating naman sa grades, I would say, kagaya nga nabanggit ni Ate Ghela, di ba? So, it matters sa umpisa yung grades na yan kasi that will get you right into the door eh. Parang yan yung entrance point mo eh. But still, meron akong isang parang women astronomer na biglang naalala because of that question. Si Michelle Thaler. Si Dr. Michelle Thaler, he's one of the chief scientists sa NASA. And take note, yung mga parang grades niya sa back in high school, C. Pasang-awa lang. Diba? But it will get you right in the door. Siyempre, kung magaling ka talaga, you will proceed yung knowledge mo, di ba? But still, kagaya nga na nabanggit ko kanina, there will be certain times na bigla kang paplakda. Naranasan natin yan, of course, Ate Ghela, diba? Alam mo yan, yung feeling yan, napapaklak ka talaga. Right? Pero, syempre, just like what I said, never give up attitude and passion comes a long way. Tuloy mo lang yan, kahit ilang beses ka pumlakda, mag-fail. In any field, isa lang yan eh. Like, the same formula, even though 21st century na ngayon, it's pretty much the same exact formula pagdating sa pag-attain ng career mo. You can shift careers kung talagang sa tingin mo na hindi talaga nag-work sa'yo. Ang masasabi ko lang naman dyan, basically, even though yes, mga credentials na yan, it matters. But still, there will come to a time na parang naboboard ka na eh. Yung tinatawag na midlife crisis, di ba? May mga other aspects of life na maiisip mo na parang I'm left behind. So, but still, ikaw lang ang makapagsasabi niyan. It's your life, it's your decision. Napaka-powerful yan to at least practice self-reflection every once in a while. Pag kaya mo i-practice yung self-reflection na yan, wala ka ng problema basically.
Oh, I think my question from grade 8, ilang-ilang. Santos, you may unmute. You may unmute. I already asked you to unmute. I think magpapakita sa screen mo. Ito po yung question niya po. Last question na talaga po ito. So, ang question niya po is, may bayad po ba kung mag-aaral ng astronomy?
So I'd like to go first. So during our time, kasi we're same school kami, schoolmates kami ni Aldrin sa RTU Bonnie. Medyo higher batch nga lang ako. Syempre, may bayad, pero dahil si RTU ay state university, hindi siya katulad ng mga private universities na medyo talagang bumabaha ng pera. Pero ayun, syempre meron pa ding if I'm not mistaken, hindi ko sure alam kung magkano na yung rate ngayon eh, pero around during our time mga 8,000 per semester. I'm not sure. Mga ganun. Okay, thank you.
Yep, nothing is free in general. But SUC na yan, thanks to yung mga amendments na ginawa ng government, state universities like RTU, yung mga public colleges and universities, yan. Tinanggal na nila yung tuition fees. Siguro, yung mga bababayaran mo lang, yung mga miscellaneous fees, and then your personal expenses. Siyempre, pagkain, diba? Mga survival, yung mga essentials, definitely. Like in general naman sa mundo, nothing is free. Meron talagang kapalit lahat ng bagay. Kagaya nga sa pag-pursue ng dreams mo may kapalit yan. Siyempre, kapalit yan yung halos wala ka ng tulog, yung halos basa ka ng basa, minsan mawawalan ka na ng friends dahil sa kakaaral mo eh. That's the price of actually achieving your dreams, right? But basically speaking, yun nga, you just, wala talagang libre sa mundo, basically. But yun nga, yan. Pagdating naman sa mga pag-e-enroll, yun na, mas niluwagan na, thankfully. Yun.
Thank you po, sir. And that's gonna be the end of the open forum. So continuing on, thank you to both Ma'am Ghela and Sir Aldrin for that wonderful talk, as well as for imparting their knowledge on the women of astronomy. We hope for more activities soon. I would like to congratulate our speakers by presenting to them their certificate of appreciation. It seems that, oh, there we go. I'm sorry po, sir, ang blur sheet po ng screen. So we would like to award, so to continue on, San Beda University, Manila, the Space, the Legend of Astronomy Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is given to Miss Ghela Lequiron for her priceless contribution as a guest speaker during the Space, the Legend of Astronomy, given on this 9th day of October 2021 at San Beda University, Manila. Congratulations po, ma'am.
Thank you.
And I think there's one more certificate. Thank you, sir. So, Space, the Legend of Astronomy, Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is given to Mr. Aldrin B. Gabuya for his priceless contribution as a guest speaker during the Space, the Legend of Astronomy, given on this 9th day of October 2021 at San Beda University, Manila. Congratulations po, sir.
Shukran jazilan. That means thank you very much in Arabic.
Once again, congratulations to both of our speakers. Before we end our symposium, may I call on Angeline Kilang to announce the winners of the digital poster making contest as well as the photo infographic contest that was held on September 29.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll be asking Maximilian to share the screen. So for the winner of the Astrophoto infographic contest is Mr. Amador Albert Jade from FG Calderon Integrated School. Congratulations, Mr. Amador. You're one of a kind for your prize and certificate. Huh? Yung first. Third place ata yun nabanggit mo. Okay. For the third runner-up, it is Will J. Rafael C. Yolanda from Lacandula High School. Congratulations. Next. For the second runner-up, it is Edra Lane B. Alipio from Manuel G. Araulo High School. Congratulations. And for the first place, it's Mr. Albert Jade from FG Calderon Integrated School. Congratulations, Mr. Amador. You're one of a kind for your prize and certificate. Please message our Facebook page, Bedan Society of Young Astronomers. So now let us proceed for the winners in the digital poster making contest. For the third runner-up, I would like to congratulate Miss Frenchki Jendiza B. Pegola from GAT Andres Bonifacio High School. Congratulations. They'll be receiving a certificate. For the second place, for the second runner-up, we have China Cecil from San Beda University. Congratulations. And for our winner in our digital poster making contest is, wala bang drum roll? Dick Jones Sarmiento from Asian Institute of Maritime Studies. You did absolute well for your prize and certificate. Please message our Facebook page, Bedan Society of Young Astronomers.
Once again, congratulations to the winners of both the digital poster making and the infographics. Once again, congratulations. Continuing on, now may I call on once again Angeline Kilang, and Miguel Polinag for the closing remarks, the closing prayer, and the Bedan hymn, respectively.
So thank you, Mr. Shiva Cruz. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak. I'd like to express my gratitude to the students and grade 12, as well as our admin, Sir Benjamin Sanaho, Mrs. Aurelien Compao, Miss Mercy Manzano, and Sir Christian for attending the symposium. I'd also like to express my gratitude to the presenters, Miss Ghela Lequiron and Aldrin Gabuya. I am genuinely enthusiastic about your and it was both as our speaker for today's symposium, as well as for our moderator, Sir Jun Cajigal. Thank you all for coming today and for patiently listening to our speakers to have and offer. I wish all a happy and healthy day. Thank you.
Now, let us put ourselves in the presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty Father, as we have come now to a closing with this astronomical event, we thank you for your guiding hands that have helped us make this World Space Week event a successful one. We also thank each and every one within the organizations, the participants, and audiences that have stayed with us throughout the event. Thank you for the courage, strength, and brilliance that you have shared us. May you continue to guide each and every one of us the path and journey of success. May your work can inspire and ignite both our mind and body as we continue the path laid for us. We ask this through Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God forever and ever. Amen. That in all things God may be glorified. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
We hope that you have learned a lot in today's webinar, as this can be, especially to the females that are aiming to become astronomers, as our guides to reach the stars up high. Once again, I am Shiva Cruz, telling you to not be shy and express yourself in a way that you are satisfied, as well as reminding us all to keep reaching for the stars. We would like to express our thanks to our stream viewers and to those who attended this webinar today. Have a great weekend, everyone. You may now start leaving this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Don't forget to answer the attendance form.
Yes, to all the participants in this webinar, please fill up the attendance form for your certificates.
Attendance form.